Are you looking to grow revenues, increase profitability, or obtain financing? If so, you came to the right place.
Running a business is all about leadership. How do you become a better leader? Learn from the successful entrepreneurs and business owners how to lead your organization more effectively. That's why we created Leadership Live at 8:05, Talking Small Business, to help you succeed with your host, Andrew Frazier, Business Growth Pro and CFO and founder of the Small Business Pro University. Every Tuesday evening at 8 p.m. Eastern, we're joined by experienced entrepreneurs and business owners who share their secrets to success via live stream. Also, every Friday morning, we release a new podcast episode. Either way, you will learn about developing your business leadership skills from our roster of highly performing guest experts. Leadership Live is one of the many valuable resources provided through the Small Business Pro University, empowering business owners to learn, profit, and grow. Find out more at sbpro.u.com.
Welcome back to Leadership Live at 8:05. I'm your host, Andrew Frazier, and excited to be back here once again with you on Tuesday evening. Each week, we really try to bring together something valuable for entrepreneurs and business owners like you to help you become better leaders and understand how to move your organization forward more effectively. Very excited about what we have this evening. I've got a special guest, Cheryl Easley. We're going to be talking about Make Every Friday Black Friday. You got to like that. And looking forward to really just learn a little bit about it, how it came about, what they're doing to make every Friday Black Friday, and just how important and valuable that is to all business people and everybody everywhere. So tonight, Cheryl Easley is my guest, and I'm excited to have her here. Hey, Cheryl, how you doing this evening?
I'm doing very well. How are you, Andrew? Thank you very much for having me.
Okay, I'm great. Definitely excited. You got a great background there, looking excellent, and I just got my
Thank you very much.
But glad to have you on here. We've had a chance to work together a little bit on some projects, and really like what you and your organization are doing. So I'm glad that you'll be able to introduce that to everybody this evening. So
I thank you for the opportunity.
Okay, excellent. So before we get started, just tell us a little bit about who you are. Where you came from, a little bit about your journey, where you are now, and how you got here.
Okay. Well, thank you very much, as I said, to you, and good evening to all your the audience listening to us. Again, my name is Cheryl Easley. I am a member. I'm a resident of Denville, New Jersey, but I am a Midwesterner by birth. I grew up in Ann Arbor, Michigan. I'm very proud of that. People who know me will say how obnoxious I am when it comes to all things Ann Arbor and Michigan. And it gets a lot of, it really gets a rise out of some people. But again, I usually just kind of throw that out there because I have found that I've lived in many parts of the country. And I'm always struck by the fact that no matter where I am, I would see people with Michigan paraphernalia. And it wasn't until I actually left Ann Arbor that I realized the presence that it has and that it's like a national school. So again, that's why I kind of do it, to make an entree, to kind of rile to my friends. But my whole family's there. I grew up there. I did go to Michigan State undergrad. But I did get my MBA at the University of Michigan Business School, and notice that I said business school and not the Ross School of Business. While I acknowledge that dates me, I'm very proud of the fact that of the experience that I had and the history of that program. But I worked in advertising and marketing for the beginning of my career. Before going to graduate school. And then I worked in consumer packaged goods marketing for several years until I started to have children. But through that journey, I moved to different parts of the country. I was in North Carolina with Sarah Lee and Haynes. I was in Rochester, New York, working for Bausch and Lomb. Then I moved to Indianapolis, where I worked for Dow Brands until the business was sold to SC Johnson. As much as I loved my experience and the challenges and opportunities I had at Dow, I was not going to relocate to Racine, Wisconsin, not a slight to anybody who lives there. But it turned out to be a gift because I was expecting my first child. So that took us to the Washington, D.C. area through my husband's job. He works in the pharmaceutical industry. And then we went to Indianapolis and came back to New Jersey. So all that is to say, lived in several locations. But while I haven't been in the corporate environment, since I've had children, I've made sure that I always did a lot to keep my marketing and advertising skills honed. Never missed opportunities to write and work in the areas of marketing, advertising, and communications. And I have volunteered extensively for the last 20 years and really made inroads in my community. I have been, again, we live in Denville. And my daughters were among the few Black children, I don't mind saying, in the public schools there. So while I had the luxury, and I do look at it as a luxury, of being home while I was raising them, I was able to make my presence felt and be a class mom throughout the whole time at their school. And you may say, what difference does it make? Well, it does make a difference because, in fact, for the years that I was there, I was the only Black woman, the only Black mother who was a class mom. But representation matters. And if I hadn't been there, there would not have been any others. And I wanted to make sure the administration knew that we were involved parents. I wanted to signal to the other parents that Black families, despite the stereotypes, take a big interest in the well-being and the education of their children. So I did that. But even putting that aside, I've been affiliated with local chapters of national organizations for the past 20 plus years. I've been in leadership capacity for all of them. I have dabbled around in politics at the New Jersey level. And I've also served in just volunteering and being a good community member. I've been on the board of different nonprofits. And when it all came together, when I met Io Sanderson Wilson, who is our founder and CEO, we had many things in common. Our children were the same age. Our husbands became fast friends, and in fact, our fraternity brothers. But we had a penchant for and a common interest in nonprofit and rather in community service. So we kind of mirrored each other in the different organizations. And when she said that she wanted to start a nonprofit, it was a perfect thing for me to do. Having been at home, but yet having amassed a lot of experiences, it was the perfect chapter 3, if you will, in my life, where I could be very unapologetic in my support of Black communities and doing all that I could to try to help the Black community grow. So Io's been a wonderful leader and partner, and it's my pleasure to go along in this journey with her. And we're 3 years into Empower the Village, and we've been off to a great start.
Okay.
But again, our efforts have been accelerated.
Let me just ask you some questions and fill in some things, because you know all this stuff really well, but this is new to a lot of people. So, you're the executive director of Empower the Village. So what is Empower the Village?
Empower the Village is a 501c3 nonprofit organization and dedicated to restoring prosperity, peace, and power to the Black community. Now, if that sounds like an elevator pitch, it is. But at the same time, what really makes us stand out is the fact that we are a data-driven organization. And I'm not taking shots at other organizations who are out there who are similarly yoked to the Black community and whose existence is to promote the Black community. But we made sure, and Io calls herself a nerd, and I don't mind saying I will give her all due credit for that, because she is very data-driven and focused. And I too like knowing that all the prescriptions that we come up with, our approach to problem solving and helping the Black community, is driven by data. A lot of things are instinctual, right? And that you kind of have a gut, but we actually drill down to details and serve the Black community where the need is greatest based on data.
Okay, well, let's take a step back. Okay. So, data driven is a pretty interesting term. And, one of the things that, many people may or may not know is, really business is tougher everywhere, even in the nonprofit sector, and everything's more and more competitive. So one of the important things about data is to have proof and records and accurate information. And if you're going to be in nonprofit or different types of organizations, that's something you need to learn how to do.
Indeed.
Also, even if you're a for-profit, you always need to look at data and information so that you can make the best decisions possible. So, one of the things that I really like about ETV is, they're not just doing stuff they think would be good to do. There's something behind it, and there's a methodology and there's a process, which is important in anything you're doing, but especially in the space where you are. So tell me a little bit about the data that you found about the community and what that has led you to do with it.
Indeed. Well, for starters, as I was starting to say earlier, and I'm glad that you're going to help pace me, Andrew, because you wind me up and I can keep on going, and I don't mind doing that, but I want to be mindful of the audience. But again, our efforts were accelerated during the COVID-19 outbreak. And while we had been operational for since 2018, laying out an outline and deciding the direction in which we're headed, that really was such a jarring situation for everybody at home that we really accelerated our efforts. But we wanted to make sure that what we did was focused, it was strategic, and that we were making the biggest impact that we could. So just to start a little bit, just to take a further step back and just talk about the state of Black America. I'm not going to spew out a lot of statistics, but I will start out by saying that in terms of buying power, the Black community has tremendous buying power, right? We have $1.2 trillion of GDP, which if you were to compare us to countries around the world, we are tied with Indonesia and ahead of Saudi Arabia and the Netherlands and most of the EU in terms of GDP. There are over 2.6 million Black businesses. And for, again, the purposes of our discussion, Andrew, we're going to be focusing a little bit on entrepreneurs predominantly on entrepreneurs and small Black businesses. We are making strides. They're doing very, very well, but it's not without setbacks. And so we have decided that in order to make the biggest impact, we wanted to be very, very focused. So what we did throughout the course of the last year and a half is to put together a strategy. We call it our 25-state strategy. And why it's 25 states is because 24 states plus the District of Columbia. I was very quick to say we think DC should be a state and maybe statehood will be in the offing. But 90.5% of the Black community actually resides in those areas, right? So we have developed a strategy and we are concentrating our efforts in New Jersey and 24 other markets where the majority of the Black people reside. So that is how we get off to a good start. Not only that, but of the 25 states, we are, well, let me back up and say that that's how we are going to approach it. And then from there, we will drill down further. Another thing is just to talk about Black businesses. Again, there are 2.6 million of them, but at the same time, again, it's not without our challenges. And I'm going to talk a little bit broadly about Black businesses, and then I'm going to talk a little bit about Black women-owned businesses too. Because there is a statistic, it's commonly bandied about. There are a couple of different sources, but the statistic is that 95 or 90% or 96% of Black-owned businesses are sole proprietorships. That means that the owner is the only person basically working for the company in their own best interest. They are, as my daughter wasn't familiar with this term when I threw it at her, but they are chief cook and bottle washer. No paid employees, maybe a family member to help support them, but they are basically doing it on their own. But of the businesses that are sole proprietorships, Black businesses are about 12% of them in the country. So just to kind of keep in mind, 11.7, 12%. So not a lot of them. But when it comes to looking at our businesses versus the broader community, We lag woefully behind in terms of revenue, because despite the fact that we are 12% of the sole proprietorships, in terms of revenue, Black community only amasses about 5.5% of revenue, which is alarming, but there's also opportunity to improve. So that's something to keep in mind. In terms of the industries where we reside, where we predominantly play, for obvious reasons, and we can get into this a little later too, but we tend to inhabit industries where there are lower barriers to entry. But why is that? Because often raising revenue and accumulating startup capital and having access to credit is a deterrent for many Black businesses. On average, startup capital, Black businesses operate on 1/3 of the amount of startup capital that the community writ large is able to use in a typical startup kind of situation. So, we're already dealing with a lot of impediments, but our arms are tied behind our backs because it takes so much more to be viable. And as a result, some of the organizations that we might have interest in pursuing, we may or may not be able to amass the startup capital. So we play in the spaces of course, retail and grooming and health and restaurants and whatnot, but there are more lucrative businesses. And it's not that we don't play in them, we just don't play in them to the extent that other communities do. And then very quickly, Andrew, just one thing I want to say about Black women. If you think that things are challenging for the Black community at large, Black women are further challenged. Now, the good news is that since 2007 going forward, Black women have been the largest segment of entrepreneurs in the country. Between 2007 and 2012, 67% of the women-owned businesses, the new businesses, were from Black women entrepreneurs. And then from 2014 to 19, and notice I say right up to the pandemic, Black women accounted for 50% of the businesses. So the growth is there. The growth was there, but of course we ran into some impediments, as most businesses did, because of the pandemic. But if you were to ask what really drove that growth, a number of factors. And I want to go ahead and give a shout out to an article that I did read, because I did get a lot of this data from an October 26, 2020 Forbes article written by Ruth Uma, who is a staff writer who focuses on D&I in the corporate space. But she did an analysis of Black women businesses and said that one of the reasons why we were making such tremendous inroads and so quickly was due to our educational attainment. Black women are fast and growing quickly in terms of going to college, undergrad, and greater education, and we're attaining higher levels of success in the corporate space. We've been able to knock down some of the barriers to advancement that had hindered us in the past. However, despite the fact that we were entering the job market and the entrepreneurial space with such large numbers, our revenues and our ability to stay viable and actually grow is not commensurate with our growth rate. So after the 5-year mark, when it really comes to the maturation of Black businesses, that's when we run into most hurdles, where we don't have the same access to capital. So the good news is we're doing a lot of really great things. The problem is it's harder to compete. And that's why we at Empower the Village are very intentional in our promotion of and support for Black businesses and entrepreneurs.
Okay. So, yeah, I mean, definitely, you covered a lot. And, Black women businesses are growing,
Yes.
that's the fastest growing segments. One of the things that you're, focused on is, it's more challenging for Black businesses than some other businesses, but, business is not easy for anybody.
Right. Exactly.
Or for mostly anybody. And, there's a lot of challenges, but, I think what you're saying also is, my parent, I always heard that, life's not fair, but there's things you can make to make it fairer for you.
Indeed.
And entrepreneurship, I think, gives you the opportunity to make it fairer for you. Whereas other places you don't have the ability to make that impact.
Right.
So,
Right.
But also, you have 4 pillars of what your organization's all about. Can you tell us a little bit about what they are, real quick? And
Yes. Yes. Thank you. We have 4 strategic pillars, and they are. I'll quickly just list them, and I'm going to tell you just a little bit about each of them. One is policy and power. The other, health and wellness, followed by education and employment, and finally economic prosperity. And just start going back with policy and power. My goodness, if there's not a place in the country that wasn't mindful of all the impediments that the Black community has been facing with regard to voting rights and whatnot. So what we did, coincident with the 2020 election, is to generate start a campaign called Operation Ballot Box. And Operation Ballot Box was a initiative whereby we took 12 strategic states where the Black turnout was going to be determinative in the election, but where there were blatant voter suppression efforts, and made sure that in the midst of COVID, that we made sure that we gave accurate information for Black voters to get out and be able to vote. We were proponents of utilizing drop boxes because we weren't hindered by potential shenanigans and slow mail that was going on through the U.S. Post Office. Yet, when people could, when the option existed in certain states, instead of having to risk going in person and voting at the polls, our strategy was find drop boxes, make sure that you vote early. And we feel very, very proud that we actually got ahead of the curve in that area, because as we got closer to the election, people were starting to pivot off mail-in ballots and said, yes, drop off your ballots in the drop boxes. So that's one initiative that we did in 2020. And not to be outdone, in 2021, while it wasn't the general national election, we did focus those efforts on these off-year elections around the country. So that was in the area of policy and power. In the area of health and
Okay.
Did you want to say? Okay.
So
please.
Okay, so we got the policy. You've got education. You said.
Yes, education. We're going to talk about a little bit more a little later on, because a lot of those programs and the initiatives that are under development. But I will say a portion of it does dovetail with our economic prosperity piece, which I will share and go into more detail with you a little later on.
Okay, and then I guess the other one was the health care, and
exactly.
Definitely the pandemic and other things affected the Black community in many ways significantly, and continue to. So
right.
So you have initiatives in that space as well.
We did. We had a program, Andrew, called Stop the Spread, in which we partnered with our different members in the community. We refer to them as the village, if you will. And, what I didn't say is empower the village. Part of our logo is it takes a village. And everybody's familiar with the African adage, it takes a village to raise a child, right? But when we have shared that that's basically the genesis of our name, some people said, "Oh, wow, I remember that proverb Hillary Clinton originated or created it." And we say, no, she was able to leverage it, but it's actually an African proverb or adage that has been around for centuries or a millennia. But the point isn't lost on anybody, that in order to be successful, in order for businesses and communities to thrive, you need to leverage the strengths that you have, the resources that exist in the village. And we were able to do that with regard to the COVID onset. We were able to collaborate with a local healthcare organization who brought testing. At the time, testing was something that was very hard to secure. So we were able to collaborate with them, and as well as a community church, Calvary Baptist Church, who lent us their premises. We brought in Zufall Health, and they brought a portable testing van, if you will, motorhome, and we're able to bring it into the heart of the Black community. And then we were also able to utilize the manpower and the logistical help of the Alpha Phi Alpha fraternity, and we were able to conduct 4 different testing and or vaccine events in the height of the pandemic. All told, we had around 1,000 people who were able to come in and test and make sure that they had the peace of mind while they moved in and out of the society and the community before a vaccine was made readily available. We did have one vaccination event, again with Fall Health. This time, rather than Calvary, we did it with Church of God in Christ, and the Alphas also helped us with logistical support. But we were able to help administer over 100 vaccines early in the early portion of the pandemic.
Okay, so you're doing great things. You've been doing partnering with bringing people together
Right.
to create an impact, a greater impact, which is much needed. And then your fourth pillar is economic empowerment, and I guess you have 2 components of that where one is on the business side, Black businesses, and on the other is financial empowerment and financial knowledge or awareness for everybody, so that we can become more. We want to circle back to making every Friday Black Friday, which is like real big initiative. And one of the things that we've questioned from our audience, Stephanie wanted to know a little bit more about some of the strategies that you're using to help Black businesses. And I think the biggest strategy and what things come from is to make every Friday Black Friday. But to do that, you have a lot of other initiatives to support that. So can you talk a little bit about what Make Every Friday Black Friday is, and then also how do you help us to make every Friday Black Friday?
Exactly. Yes. The economic prosperity pillar is our most robust, as you had said. And while we're very proud of the inroads that we've made in other areas, we have made a commitment to double down. And we've found that our efforts are really resonating in the area of economic prosperity. Make Every Friday Black Friday is a movement that IO had put together, and we kind of workshopped it and ran it past people. And they said, my goodness, what a brilliant idea. Why didn't we think of it earlier? We launched it a year ago in 2020. And as the name implies, we launched it on Black Friday. Black Friday being the day after Thanksgiving. Everybody's familiar with that, in which retailers actually, based on their sales, they actually go into the black, and that's the biggest profitable period between then and the holiday season. But the rationale behind that was that Black people in the country represent 14%. As a fraction, that's 1 in 7. So Make Every Friday Black Friday means that we think in order to really support the Black business and bring prosperity, peace, and power to the Black community, the best thing that we can do is to collectively share the word to support Black businesses at least 1 out of 7 days a week. Friday was the easiest one to latch on to, but we certainly hope that no one will be limited to that, and that they will just get to the mindset. And it's kind of a cultural phenomenon. We're hoping that we can kind of see the movement where people are very intentional and habitual in the support of Black-owned businesses. So we launched that last year. And again, we are supporting it through our social media channels. I'll be giving shout outs to these throughout the course of our talk, Andrew, but we are very active on Facebook, Instagram, LinkedIn. We've got a very robust YouTube presence, and we have weekly email blasts. And we make sure that we share information, reminders, and we buttress that information with the statistics that talk about the state of Black businesses, why it's so important to support Black businesses, and how they all benefit. One thing that we are very, very proud about that we were not expecting that kind of happened to us very fortuitously is that we've got a dynamic, just for starters, we have a dynamic board and advisory council who've been very supportive of all of our efforts. They are highly accomplished women and men who are at the forefront of their fields. And I'll get into more about them a little later on. But one of our trustee members in particular is a friend of Whoopi Goldberg's. So she had the opportunity to tell Whoopi about the fact that she's on this advisory council for this new nonprofit, Empower the Village, and told her about our initiative of Make Every Friday Black Friday. And Whoopi Goldberg was so moved. She said, my goodness, that's something that I can really get behind and believe in. And she said, I would love to be able to share the word about this initiative. So she instantaneously went and taped a 30-second to 1 minute blurb and posted it on her social media saying, make every Friday Black Friday. And it's the perfect call to action to garner support for Black-owned businesses. And we also have a tool called our Village Black Pages. I'll get to that in a moment. That will help drive people, to help them locate the Black businesses. But you couldn't ask for more, for a better situation. And we couldn't be more proud and humbled by the fact that we had a celebrity the caliber of Whoopi Goldberg, who had over 1.5 million Instagram followers, give us a shout out. And that really helped us seed and launch our Make Every Friday Black Friday movement.
Okay. No, that's great. And definitely that's an important movement. But if I want to make every Friday Black Friday, how do I do it? I mean, it's one thing to say it, but how do people do that? And what are you doing to help people do that?
Absolutely. We have created a tool, a resource called the Village Black Pages. Just if it sounds familiar, it probably reminds you of the Yellow Pages. But similarly, they are directories that are keys to where and how to locate Black businesses around the country. As I had mentioned earlier in the presentation, Andrew, we have a 25-state strategy, and 90.5% of the Black population reside in 25 states. So again, if you're going to be intentional and channel your efforts and be strategic, we want to make sure that we gave this resource guide and these particular markets to really, really make an impact. So we have developed to date 10 Village Black Page directories. They are so far in 10 states. I'm going to try to rattle them off without forgetting, but they are in New York, New Jersey, Connecticut, Massachusetts, Delaware, Ohio, Maryland, Virginia, and the District of Columbia, Washington, D.C. But we have a comprehensive list of Black businesses in each of those 10 states. We have 31 categories, right, where the businesses are classified. And for each state, we have compiled a list of anywhere from 1,000 to 1,500 businesses, again, across 30 different product categories, whereby it's one thing to say that you're going to support the Black business, but people want to say, well, where do I go? Where do they exist? There's got to be more intent, and we want to make sure that people had more information than just saying, I think I'll support the local soul food restaurant down the street. Nothing wrong with that. God bless them. And chances are, if they're that popular, they are absolutely in our directory. But we have compiled the list of over 1,000 of them in each state. And we invite people in the communities, anybody, to go to our website. We are www.empowerthevillage.org. And check out our site. We've got a brand new site. I'm going to talk about that in a little bit too. But that's where you can access our Village Black Page directories. You'll go down and click Village Black Pages, and you will find either a map that you click on, and it'll take you to one of the 10 directories that we have available, or there is a carousel that scrolls through, and you will just click on the directory that you would like to research. And we've got an online, beautiful, very user-friendly, easy to access directory where you can go through the pages and just get an overview of the different businesses that are out there. I want to talk, Andrew, if you want to stop me, because I can go into a little bit more detail there, or I can plow ahead with that. But we've got some really distinguishing features that I think a lot of directories don't have that I'd be glad to share with you.
Okay, well, before you do that, on the screen, I've got where you can go to see the
Thank
Village
you.
Back pages. But not only
Excellent.
that, if you're not in the Village Back pages, and you should be, you can nominate your business there because they're always looking to expand and provide opportunities for more business owners.
Yes, the listings, to be clear, and I didn't make this clear at the outset, they are absolutely free to Black-owned businesses. We have looked at hundreds. Our team has looked at hundreds of directories that are out there. A lot of them are gorgeous. Some of them have outdated information, though. Some of them have charged businesses to be listed. We are offering this service as a nonprofit. We are not driven by the same motives maybe as some organizations. So we, through our fundraising and grants they're able to get, we can offer the service to the Black community and to the village at large. The village, by the way, are not just Black people. They are anybody who are interested in racial equity throughout the country, right? So it can be corporations, it can be the Divine Nine, they can be executives, they can be foundations, they can be your neighbors, anybody who wants to see racial equity. But anybody can go in and nominate a Black business as well. And business owners can self-nominate, again, free of charge. All you do is go to our Village Black page directory. There is a form, nominate businesses. You put in the name of the business, their email address and or phone number, because that is the minimum criteria that we need to have. You need to have either a website or at least be reached via phone, right? But put in the type of business, the name of the business, the type of business, the category where they would like to be. And then as the nominator, we ask that you enter your information so that we can contact you. If there are any questions. But the point is, we will vet them to make sure that they are in fact Black owned. But we will put them into our directory and make sure that they are featured instantaneously. But we do update it and clean it. We go through all the listings and we scrub the book once a quarter to make sure that businesses are still viable. Sometimes, unfortunately, Black businesses fold. And as we had talked about earlier, Black businesses, all businesses, but the pandemic has been very, very challenging. People may not know this, but 41% of Black businesses have shuttered either permanently or temporarily as a result of the pandemic. Some of them are coming back, but not enough. And that's another reason why we want to accelerate our efforts and make sure that we're able to support the ones that are in existence, or to help the ones that are getting off the ground. And the Village Black page directory is the perfect vehicle to bring exposure to your business free of charge.
Okay. No, that's great. I've seen a lot of projects like this, a lot of directories or potential directories. And, I've got to say that, I've been impressed because I don't think I've seen one as extensive as what you guys have developed.
Right.
And, really, the ability to do it in multi-states and have so many businesses within it, is
Right.
impressive. I mean, there's a lot that have a few companies, but we're talking thousands of companies.
Right.
And, not for lack of initiatives to do it. It's just, it's not an easy thing to do. It's a lot of work. It's a lot of effort. It's a lot of time. And, it's great that your organization has the bandwidth and the ability to, and expertise, the ability to do something like this. So
yeah, if you may, I have to, if you'll give me another minute just to brag about it a little bit. First of all, it does take hundreds of hours to put together each directory. It does. But we've got a crack team of very, very smart folk who sometimes do very tedious work researching all these businesses, the thousands and thousands of businesses. Again, we've amassed over 15,000 so far, and our goal is to eventually complete 25 directories. But, we're very, very proud of what we've been able to put together. They're aesthetically pleasing, they're easy to use. And one of the features I think that distinguishes us from a lot of them, competitive products, is the fact that they are customizable. And by that, I mean, as I said, we've got 31 different categories. So for example, since we live and reside in New Jersey, you can go and click on the New Jersey book and you can thumb through and leaf through and scroll through and see the different, 1,200 plus listings that we have here. However, If you want to winnow it down, and let's say I just want to identify, because I, got a big weekend, I want to identify all the restaurants, let's say in Newark, because we're going to be going out to Newark and we want to see all the different restaurants. We have it so you can filter each directory by category and by city or county. And so that you'll go from a very robust book, but by clicking the filters that you want, it can be winnowed down so you can just have a listing of a particular category or two. You may want a Ohio book. You have relatives in Ohio, or you're going to be visiting, and say, while I'm there, I want to know where the restaurants are. I want to know where the health and where the beauty and grooming places are, and maybe some of the entertainment venues. You can go to Ohio. You can pick the different categories, and maybe you want to focus in on a particular market. I'm a Michigan fan, so I hate to say this, but let's say you're spending some time in Columbus. You might just want to identify Columbus, Ohio, click that, and it will drill down and give you a customized book of just the business categories that you want in the particular market that you want. Don't know, we have not seen, and when I say that we've looked at hundreds of directories, we haven't seen the ability to customize them the way that we have done it. And as a result, we're getting a lot of feedback, and we will continue to make it a great learning and a rather engagement experience for people who choose to support and use our Village Black Page directories.
Okay. No, definitely that's a big piece of people being able to get visibility. One of the biggest challenges for Black businesses is to generate revenues.
Exactly.
Marketing and sales, especially if you're the only person in your business, you're doing a little bit of everything.
You are doing everything. Yeah.
Being able to help get visibility, get opportunities to do business with people. Right. And support with that is huge, because that's what causes a lot of businesses not to make it, because they don't have enough business. So definitely that's super powerful and super important what you guys are doing.
Right. And one last thing that I want to add about that, Andrew, I was very, very clear that we are a nonprofit and we fundraise and solicit donations in order to support these enterprises, but we still want to find ways to monetize it so that we can continue to pay for these efforts and to bring more directories and whatnot. So we offer corporations who are out there who are looking to support Black businesses. Perhaps they have DEI initiatives and goals that they want to achieve, so they can support a particular directory. If there is a business in Ohio, in Maryland, in Massachusetts, anywhere, New Jersey, who would like to fund it and support it and to brand it, we offer those opportunities. And specifically too, even to drill down even further, if there are businesses who would like to, they've got maybe a little bit more wherewithal, they have the means to advertise, we are starting to offer advertising where you can, on our directories, you can buy a half page or a full page ad on a quarterly or an annual basis for a nominal fee. If you want to run a half page rather, for a quarter, it's only $250. If you want to do it on an annual basis, it's only $750. Now, I know that seems like a commercial, and it's really not. But what it is to say that there's other opportunities to market your business while you are still continuing to feed the goals and the aims of Empower the Business, so that we can offer these services to businesses and to the community.
Okay. We got a question from Stephanie about whether you should include businesses that are not brick and mortar. How does that work?
Yes, and in this day and age, of course, that brick and mortar businesses, the startup and the capital is often prohibitive for many businesses. But for businesses who have an online presence, yes, we will, as long as you've got a viable business, a website, and whatnot, we are happy to include you as long as you are playing in the 25 state footprint. But at some point, we will also have outside of the 25 states, we will just have a generic national directory too for some of the states that may fall out of that geographic area. And that might be the area where we'll have just, in addition to what we're offering, just listings of online directories. So yes, if you don't have a brick and mortar, it's okay. If in New Jersey you don't have a storefront, but you've got a website, we're glad to add you to our directory, again, free of charge.
Okay, excellent. So, we've covered a lot, and time really goes fast. So we got about 10, 15 more minutes to go. But usually,
you got to be kidding.
Nope. Usually earlier on, we just we run this live stream through the Small Business Pro University. So it's good for people to know what the Small Business Pro University is. So what we're going to do is take a minute to learn a little bit more about the university, and then we're going to come back and talk more with Cheryl about some of the other things that they're doing to help empower Black business owners and entrepreneurs, and really be able to make the impact that they want to make for people everywhere. So we'll be back in a sec and look forward to it. One sec.
Do you own your business, or does it own you? Is your business growing, and are you making enough money? As a business owner, there are so many things you need to know to become more successful. Hello, my name is Andrew Frazier, the Business Growth Pro and CFO. I created the Small Business Pro University for you. Small Business Pro University has self-paced, dynamic, multimedia learning experiences created by more than 20 instructors who are business owners just like you. Small Business Pro University will empower you to become a masterpreneur by learning the secrets to creating a successful enterprise, to go from working in your business to working on your business. Take advantage of our strategic coaching program, or just simply choose the courses that you need at www.sbprou.com. We will empower you to thrive and not just survive, and make more money in any business environment.
Welcome back to Leadership Live at 8:05. This is Andrew Frazier, your host. I'm here with Cheryl Easley, Executive Director of Empower the Village, and we're talking about how do you make every Friday Black Friday. And one, it's a great initiative that they have. Two, they've got the directory, the Black pages, so you can't say that you don't know any Black businesses to buy from, because there's thousands at your fingertips. But not even that, in any business, in any organization, you have to have a strategy around implementing. And one of the things that they've done that I found pretty interesting is they don't just do that, but they've made it fun. And talk about some of the ways that you've made it fun for people to make every Friday Black Friday.
So true, Andrew. As a matter of fact, one of the things that we learned throughout our journey is that gamification is a term, it's a thing, and it's ways to really drive consumer engagement. And we've offered this initiative, this call to action, make every Friday Black Friday. We've got this valuable resources, our Village Black page directories. But, it doesn't make a difference if you've got these great resources if you don't find ways to engage people and to draw them in. So we have an initiative called a Black Friday Challenge. We have piloted with different organizations, but it is about to really hit full steam ahead to coincide with our 1-year anniversary of Make Every Friday Black Friday. The Black Friday Challenge is ways that we can engage individuals and corporations to really support our programs, and by default, and by extension, to support really Black businesses. For example, we have set up a couple of different challenges. One of them is the nomination challenge. We've talked about this extensively, so I'm not going to dwell on that. But starting, really, you can do it right now, but we're going to really be hitting it after November 26th, which is Black Friday. But we're going to have a game whereby companies and individuals can go to our website and nominate businesses that, again, within our 25-state footprint, to be included in our Village Black page directories. And we will offer incentives and inducements along the way. But throughout a 30-day period, the person or people who add the greatest number of new businesses to our directory will win valuable prizes. But, I think you'll probably find, and most people attest to the fact, getting a little prize or something is the least of it. What we're really doing is collectively supporting Black-owned businesses and making contributions to help grow their businesses. So you can do that as individuals, and then corporations. There are several corporations who have expressed interest who we're going to be offering challenges for 30-day periods. They tend to, when we do them individually and on an ongoing basis, they're going to start around the 15th of the month and then run for 30 days. But businesses can approach us at our website and initiate their own challenges where they have competitions among their employees, and their ERGs, their employee resource groups, may have friendly competitions to spur and generate businesses, not only to nominate businesses, but another initiative that we offer, which is Ready, Set, Shop. And as it said, as you can imagine, it's utilizing the Village Black page directories and having a friendly competition, again, either individuals or companies, where the people are rewarded and given prizes for spending the most across the variety of categories, the biggest dollar ring in support of Black-owned businesses, or chalking up the most number of transactions. Again, we're making it fun. We want to be friendly competitions. Do it with your friends. Do it by yourself, because there'll be other people playing along. But for companies and civic organizations, churches, Divine Nine, whatnot, kids, teens who want to support Black businesses, get your team, pull them together, and participate in our Black Friday Challenge. It's the gamification of our enterprises and a way to support Black businesses in the process.
Okay, no, definitely, definitely that makes it more exciting, and the more excitement and awareness you bring, the more success it's going to be.
We've piloted, and it's funny, how competition, and we've all seen it play out. People get pretty competitive and they really go at it, and they kind of, egg other people on, but that only helps drive sales. So that's what it's all about.
Right. And so, that's key. I mean, one thing on the other side, I work with a lot of business owners and entrepreneurs, and, one of the biggest challenges of all business owners is that there's so many things you need to know as a business owner that it's really hard to know them all. But, just because you don't know them doesn't mean that you're not responsible and that it can't hurt you for not knowing. So, definitely going forward, I know that, education is an important and valuable piece of that as well. So what are some of your initiatives around that?
Yeah.
And I'm looking forward to it.
Yes, and I don't mind doing a little commercial a little bit with you, Andrew, because you have been you being Small Business Pro University, have been a strong partner and collaborator as we have developed a online on-demand platform, business training platform, and giving not only businesses but families the tools that they need to help create generational wealth and to really get businesses off the ground. Our program is called the Village Empowerment Network. And that's where we are going to provide expertise to Black-owned businesses and entrepreneurs who may or may not have the expertise or the wherewithal to have paid for consultants or have people who are experts in the different functional areas to really keep their businesses viable and thriving. Like I had said, the majority of Black businesses, 95+%, are single proprietor, sole proprietor, or non-employers is the category. And they are chief cook and bottle washer. They are running the business. They are trying to manage the books. They are trying to market and develop products and services. And they may not have the expertise. Some people, as we had said, are attaining expertise along the way through their corporate jobs, and then they leave to start businesses. But there are people who are phenomenally talented with a particular product or service, but they may not have the background, the wherewithal. So what we've done with your assistance and with other people in the village who are helping us put together a curriculum, we are having a free or sometimes a sliding scale, lower price offering of courses. But overall, we're offering classes that help businesses in areas of finance, locating and securing access to funding, marketing, human resources, and a self-guided, self-paced basis. Okay, that's one piece of it, where there are online classes where you go on, you click on it, you see the areas that you need to shore up, and you can take the classes in your leisure. And the wonderful thing about the way that they're going to be set up is the fact that you may not have 2 hours to go through a whole class in finance, but the breaks are set up in such a way that, you know what, I may not have 2 hours, but I can devote the next 15, 20 minutes to a segment. So they're in digestible portions. So you can spend the time and look in and take and be taught by experts, accomplished people from all disciplines and across their fields, people that you vetted, people that we vetted, people with national reputations, who know how to train people and offer assistance in every single functional area of business. So that's one program. That's the on-demand online platform that we are pulling together a curriculum. And like I said, we've drawn by your expertise. Andrew, you have created a great niche in this space and have had tremendous success. We've been glad to partner with you and get that off the ground. And that is an initiative that is going to be enacted the first quarter of 2022. So stay posted and stay tuned to our website, Join the Village, and so that you can always be have access to the developments going on. But there's another component to our Village Empowerment Network as well. There's also one-on-one counseling. And we are offering that for businesses as well and individuals, where people can focus on how to create generational wealth and how to put together a business plan to help insulate yourself, be it your enterprise, be it your family, from economic downturns, and to help make plans towards setting up your fortunes going forward. Those are going to be one-on-one sessions with, again, professionals in every single conceivable business functional area that you can imagine. We're going to have legal expertise, human resource, financial, marketing and advertising. That's a big one that I haven't really centered enough throughout this conversation. And that's the fact that a lot of people want to go in really hard, but they don't have a website, or they don't know how to navigate social media. So we're going to offer these services one-on-one. And that is, again, something that we can start to execute within the next few weeks. We've got professionals standing by who are going to be ready to offer these services for people who go to our website and sign up for nominate themselves for our Village Empowerment Network. And we will contact you. And there's one other thing that I have to ask, and I know we're pressed for time, but I just have to add, Andrew, and that's the fact that in honor of our 1-year anniversary, which again, of our Make Every Friday Black Friday initiative and whatnot, starting on November 26th, Black Friday, we are going to offer sessions, free sessions, counseling and strategy and consultations for Black businesses, again, within our strategic footprint, but for as many as 50 businesses who fill out that nomination form starting November 26th. So go ahead, nominate yourself. And just to get the program seated and off the ground, this is, again, we can offer this service because we're a nonprofit, because we have donors, we have a grant, a very, very supportive grant in the First Energy Foundation, who's given us tremendous money to help us seed our programs. And we are always fundraising. And we can offer this program for people who want to sign up for that service. So we can get into a little bit about that a little bit more in my commercial at the end before we sign off. But I want to make sure I got it out there before we wrap.
All right. Well, we've covered a lot. We
have.
You guys are doing some great stuff. Hours not enough time to really delve into everything fully. But at least we've been able to kind of uncover some of the key things that people need to know about Empower the Village, about what you're doing as far as making every Friday Black Friday, about the Black Pages, which is a great resource.
Village Black Pages.
Village Black Pages.
Village Black Pages, thank
which
you.
is a great resource. And if you're a Black-owned business and you're not in there, you should be. And there's an opportunity. We put the link up for you in the comments, so you can just click on it from there. You've got different challenges around it. So even if you're not a business owner, you can still support Black businesses, support the initiative, and help other people support it through some of the challenges. And not only are they ways to support it, but it's a fun way to interact with people.
Right.
So think about that. You have new initiatives coming as far as the training and coaching and counseling and other initiatives. So
our Village Empowerment Network.
Village Empowerment Network. So there's a lot of really good things going on that you're doing to empower Black business owners. Definitely that's something I applaud, and I think it's much needed, and it's great to have ETB as a hub where people can come to for resources and support. So definitely glad to have you on here this evening and get a chance to chat with you about it some more.
Andrew, can I add one other thing, a couple other points before we close, and you tell me how we're doing on time. But people often ask us what they can do to support Empower the Village. And there are a couple of things that they can do. First of all, go to our website and join the Village. Sign up to receive our email blasts. And you'll stay apprised of our initiatives, and you'll also be up to date on when we're actually launching our Village Empowerment Network, as well as launching our Black Friday Challenge, which again will be on November 26th. Follow us on social media. We are on Facebook, Instagram, LinkedIn. We've got a YouTube presence. Help spread the word of the Make Every Friday Black Friday movement. Whoopi is a tremendous ambassador, but it will resonate when other people start to share this initiative with your friends, and then use the Village Black Pages directory to find and locate and support Black-owned businesses. Take part in our Black Friday Challenge. Again, it's open to anybody, and we're going to be you're going to see a lot of posts, and we're going to let our presence be known for this month so that people will join our celebration and take advantage of the different offerings that we have. And then the last thing is, last time, and I've done very little begging, but I will say this. Please donate. We are a nonprofit organization. We've got the benefit of a very, very generous donors and supporters and platinum founder circle supporters and members and whatnot. But we are looking for people to help buttress our efforts and help us offer a greater service to the Black community. And when you're thinking about donations, don't forget to go to your employers, because a lot of them offer matching funds. So that's a way to double the impact that you will make to empower the village, but really by extension, it's really how you are helping Black businesses thrive, exist, and thrive in these challenging times. So thank you very much, Andrew.
Okay, no, thank you. And I would say it's even beyond donating, it's really investing. It's investing in your community. And
it absolutely is.
All of us should be doing that to the extent that we can. Definitely what you guys are doing is important and valuable, and can't wait to see what you continue to do over the next few years.
Right. Finances are important, but spreading the word is equally important.
Yep.
So thank you.
All right. Thank you, Cheryl. Hang in there for a sec. Let me just as we close out, each week we have a great show, and definitely great to learn about Empower the Village, making every Friday Black Friday. Each week we have a different show, and just share different perspectives and topics and strategies that could be helpful for entrepreneurs and business owners. Actually, next week's show we have Marvin Storm, and he's going to talk about how to double the value of your business. Anybody interested in that? Of course not. I know nobody wants to do that, right? But yeah, next week, how to double the value of your business. He's worked with many businesses, has helped them do that. So I think it's going to be a great opportunity to really learn some valuable insights and strategies. So every Tuesday night, make every Tuesday Leadership Live Tuesday. I got to come up with something better. But I hope to see you next Tuesday evening at 8 p.m. And, at the end of the day, I always say that the more you know, the faster you grow.
Thank you for listening to Leadership Live at 8:05, Talking Small Business. Subscribe to our YouTube channel and to the podcast on your favorite podcast platform. Leadership Live is one of the many valuable resources provided through the Small Business Pro University, empowering business owners to learn, profit, and grow. Find out more at sbpro.u.com.